We've done a great job on the phone. We got our customers coming in. Now we're gonna talk about the check-in process and the 5 steps to a sale. So we're really gonna get into the VIP process here. So VIP, if you don't know, VIP is foundational for Big O Tires. VIP was one of the first things that was ever built into the new Big O Tires. Big O Tires, a little history, basically was formed out of a company called OK Tires. And part of that Big O Tires, that collective of dealers that came aboard or came as Big O Tires, they have some of their own processes that they had developed. VIP is one of those processes that came out of it. And VIP, I mean, other people have tried to copy our VIP process for years. Les Schwab, anybody know who Les Schwab is? Les Schwab, I mean, in the beginning, they would run to cars. They had to have a sense of urgency in their stores, and you had to run, not full on sprint, but you had to have a sense of urgency and run to the customer's vehicle. In fact, Les Schwab, if you had to go from the office to the shop, you had to jog to the shop. Everything you did with a sense of urgency. The VIP program, we're not asking you to run. I told you I don't run. So I'm not gonna ask you guys to run. We're not asking you to run, but the VIP program is about getting out to the car. If you can meet the customer at the car, that is ideal. Because the customer is most comfortable at their car, around their vehicle. So they're gonna give you more information, they'll talk to you more, they'll drop some of the barriers. If we can meet a customer at the car, that's ideal because, have you ever gone to some place and you're looking for a salesperson and you can't find them? Isn't that freaking aggravating? I don't expect that we can meet every customer. Because you just can't. I mean, if you're in the store and you're working with somebody, and maybe you're the only one in the store right now, or all salespeople are working with somebody, you can't stop working with that person to go meet somebody at the car. But we do want to invite that customer back out to be a part of the process. And when I say invite, I mean, we don't want to drag them back out. We want to give them the option of going back out with us. We would like to have them out there, but I also know that there are times that it might be really stinking hot outside and they're like, man, I'm enjoying this air conditioning. I want to go back out there. You can go out and get all the information you need. Or it might be raining, or you guys get snow out here, right? But there can be times that customers don't want to go back outside. So we'll go out and get the information ourselves, but we have to have the information. We've got to go out and get the information because that's what's going to help us to build what's coming next, which is our recommendations. So VIP is very important. If you are not VIPing your customers, I highly recommend you start. And you will see by the end of this presentation, we had a questionnaire that we did that we can quantify VIP and what kind of dollars it can add to a sales day. So we're going to talk about the VIP and how it coincides with the 5 steps to the sale. Everybody knows the 5 steps. Again, if you've been a salesperson for any amount of time, the 5 steps have always been the same. You greet the customer, you analyze the need, you make a recommendation, you close the sale, you overcome objections if you need to, and complete the sale. Okay, so let's talk about greeting the customer, the first part of the VIP process. If we can meet a customer at the car, let's walk out to the car. Sales in our business, really, as any business, it's about building those relationships. We've been talking about that already this morning. But one of the best ways to start building relationships is to find something in common or find something that you can start the conversation with a customer that doesn't even have to be about business. I'll give you a great example. When I was still living in California, we still had, it was years and years ago, we still had one of those, we had a 35-inch TV, and it was one of those with a big box on the back. You guys, anybody, and some of you too young to remember anything like that, but anybody seen the movie Grown Ups?
Yeah.
When they go to the cabin, and the kid's like, Dad, what is this on the back of the TV? He goes, that's the TV, son. And he's like, man, that's some stone cold shit, right? That's what I had. I had a 35-inch big old stone cold piece of shiznit. So I figured it was time to get my finally get a flat screen TV. So I did all my research. I knew what I wanted. I knew that when I went to Best Buy, they don't have salespeople with Best Buy. I knew I was going to point and they were going to go get it. So I walked into Best Buy with my wife And Southern California, nice hot day, so, you know, we're both in shorts, all that good stuff. We're looking at that is part of the story. I'm not just giving you guys a visual of my legs, but, we're looking at the TV, and the first thing that we hear as the salesperson comes walking up is he's pointing down at my wife's legs, and he goes, "Man, that's some really nice ink." Because my wife's got tattoos on her legs. So he's like, "That's really nice ink. Where'd you get that done?" And so she's showing off her legs and all her tattoos, and he's talking about where he got his done and all that kind of stuff. And for 10 minutes, we're just talking about tattoos. So by the time we finally got to the point of us talking about the TV, the reason I'm there, we like the guy. So we gotta get customers to like us, because when they like us, they'll listen to us. When you want to show them something else other than what they came in for, they're willing to listen to you if they like you. And that's exactly what this guy did. He says, "I noticed you're looking at the TV. Is that something you're interested in?" I said, "Yeah, that's the one I want right there." He goes, "It's a great TV. You love it. I have those in the back. I'll go get you one." "Do you have a home theater system at home?" And I said, "Yeah, I do. I have a home theater system." He says, "We got a new system in. Can I show it to you?" I'm like, "You show me. We like the guy. I'll listen to you. Not buying it. He's already got a home theater system. I'll listen to you." So he goes over, shows me all the bells and whistles and all that stuff, and I go, "You got those in stock?" "Well, I bought me a home theater system. I already had one. But I liked the guy, so I was willing to listen to him, and he showed me everything, and I'm like, wow, yeah, I gotta have that." He wasn't done with me. He said, "You got a Blu-ray player at home?" I go, "No, I don't have a Blu-ray player. I got a DVD player. Just bought it. Great shape. I'm good." "Man, you ain't lived until you see Blu-ray." "Let me show you." So he takes me over to the television. It's got Blu-ray playing on it. It was The Little Mermaid. Crystal clear. I'm like, wow, that is amazing. Goes inside. So yeah, I bought a Blu-ray player, and I didn't own any Blu-rays. I had to go buy Blu-rays. I think I got Batman and The Little Mermaid. But the key is, you got us to like it. And I actually gave him a business card and told him that I know franchisees would love to have him. He was quite a sales guy. Not what you usually see at Best Buy. And until I moved out of California, every time I went back in that Best Buy, I didn't even have to go in his department. I always looked. "What's up, dude?" He didn't know who I was. But I knew him. And I knew if I ever needed anything in that department, I'm looking for him again. That's who we need to be. That's who we need to be. And you start by finding things in common with a customer. You find something that you can compliment a customer on. So when you're walking out to a customer's car, what kind of things might you see? What might you talk about? "I like your car." You know, I used to like the, especially the older customers. They like to know that you do a good job of taking care of their car. So a lot of times I'll go, "Man, you take great care of that car. That's years you've been there." What else?
Family's always important.
Color of the car, modifications. What's that?
Family's always important.
Family. How would we know if they've got any kind of family?
Depends on.
Ask them how the family's doing.
Yeah, sometimes.
You can tell by they got an honor roll student bumper sticker maybe. They got car seats in the car, right? Those are great things. And how many kids you got? I've got two. I can't stand mine. How's yours? Yeah, that's a great thing. Find some things in common. I'm big into watches. I love big watches, but I'm an Apple guy, so I'm pretty much stuck on one watch. Although they now have the Ultra out, which so I can get a bigger square watch, but yeah, I'm still going to be wearing the same thing. But I have a collection of watches that my kids have gotten me over the years that I can't wear. You know, I love the Diesels and the Invictas, the big heavy watches. Like, I don't wear them. I mean, my wife's like, "You know, you can wear those watches." I'm like, "Yeah, but then I can get my messages." So they just sit there collecting bells. What's that? That's an idea. That's an idea. Somebody asked me, "You got the time?" Nope. So we can find things, jersey that they might be wearing, right? And they got trailer hitch, whatever. Find things to start having a conversation. You know, When I ran my first store, I was pretty young when I ran my first store. It didn't work out. I was too young to be running a store because I was very cocky back then. I was one of those that you couldn't tell anything. And, I was a good sales guy, so I think that's why they put me in the store, but then they realized that this guy should not be managing because never mind. So what I did learn as a young guy.
This is recorded.
It is. We might lose this recording, by the way. We got another session later. I might try again. But what I did learn as a young person is that sometimes the older customers, like myself, with a younger salesperson, will kind of have some defenses. And they might even use the words, "I've been buying tires longer than you've been alive." Some of you have heard it, or you see that body language, you know that that's there. When you start finding things in common, you start talking about how well they take care of their car or whatever, you'll see that those customers will stop dropping their barriers then. And it's easier to have conversations with them and talk to them and gather information. So this is so important in relationship building. Start building a relationship with customers before we even get to business if you can. Yes, sir.
One thing that I like to do, especially if I'm having trouble relating to them, I'm always looking for vehicles, some type of vehicle, whether it's to sell it or buy it, whatever. So I always ask, how do you like your car? Yeah, I'm just curious. I've always thought about these. And, it tells you whether they're interested in fixing it, whether they like it, how long they're keeping it. It starts a conversation. Like it gives you all this information for one simple question, and it really helps.
Good. That's good. Yeah, anything you can use to get that customer talking and making them feel comfortable with you. Again, the goal is get them to like you so you can sell them a Blu-ray player. That's what we're after. We want them to buy what we want to recommend to them. Because most of the time, does every customer need a cheap tire? I'm a firm believer there are no bad tires. It's bad application. If all we did was go to a computer and sell the cheap tire because that's what they came in for, first of all, we're just order takers, not salespeople at that point. But second, we just put tires on a customer's car, then they're probably not going to be happy. And when a customer comes in and goes, "Your tires are crap," it's not the tire, it's the application. Quick example. Before I left California, I had a 2001 Toyota Camry. 4-cylinder engine, wouldn't do 130 miles an hour on free fall. But I drove it like it was an Indy car. I'd take off ramps as fast as I possibly could because I wanted to hear the tires squeak. I drove that car very, very hard. My neighbor across the street had one that was 1 year newer than mine. Never broke the speed limit. Basically the same car. Do we both need the same tire? Nope. So if we're not gathering the information that we need to gather, we're not doing the customers or ourselves any favors. So we've got to know what we want to sell them. We've got to know what's going to work for them best. Okay? So, beginning of the sale, let's start building the rapport before we start gathering that information. Make sure you go out there and you've got something to write with and something to write on, and be willing to listen to our customers. For a lot of us in here, as men, we have tendencies to be fixers, which means we listen just long enough to know what the answer is, and then we don't listen no more. Now we're just waiting for the customer to shut up so we can tell them how to fix it. It's me in trouble at home quite often. We got to listen to our customers. As soon as you shut off, there's a good chance you're going to miss something. So go out there with both your ears working. My mom used to tell me just before she slapped me, "You got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You need to listen twice as much as you speak." So go out there and listen to your customers. How do they know you weren't listening? I said it earlier. Exactly. When they've got to answer the same question twice, they didn't listen.
So a question I've been asked before, and I'm not really sure how to answer is, this takes time to do this, right? How do we balance that with the phone's ringing, you got customers waiting in line, you're trying to help everybody equally, but you want to service them as best as possible each one?
That's good. The VIP process, I mean, it takes me a lot longer to explain it than it does to actually do it. It doesn't take long to do it. Who's doing VIP? Who's really doing VIP? Would you say it takes long to do it?
So to answer his question, I would think that there's times where you are gonna be busy and you're gonna be on the phone, but that doesn't mean you can't click the customer back up to the card.
Correct.
So that's really that's the only caveat. I mean, you're not always gonna have to have a free guy standing there being able to grab the guy when they first pull in. Like his example with Mike Lyons and Longmont. They were measured success or failure, how well they did VIP at his store. But just because you don't catch them right when they pull in doesn't mean you can't pick them back out to the car. So if that process is important, which with NavX today, and especially with Techmetric, you have to visit the car. You can't even write the ticket up without it. So it'll be part of your process when we're done.
And honestly, most of your customers will know that if they walk in and you're busy with a customer, you're in the middle of your VIP process, and if you at least acknowledge it, hey, I'll be right with you, then they'll wait as long as it takes, because they know that whatever time you spend with them, then you're gonna be spending with them too. So make it work for you. Maybe there's a time when I just can't do a VIP. But I think most of the time we can. We just choose not to. But it's important that we get out to the car. I mean, in the state of California, you have to get out to the car because you've got to get mileage. If you don't get mileage, you could actually be fined or have to give the money back or something like that. So you don't have the VAR on your question. But you do need to get out there, get the mileage, and get the information on the car. So let's talk about now getting out and getting the information, right? So a lot of you have seen this. I know there's some other forms out there, but again, we're going to have DVI that's going to have a general form that everybody uses. But the important thing is that we're getting out and we're getting information off of the vehicle and from the customer. So we start in the cab of the car. Get the keys from the customer. I got to get your mileage. Can I get your keys? Get in the car and start the car. Some people only turn it on so they can see the mileage, but we need to start it. Why should we start it? Check engine lights.
You can turn the wheel out and then put it in there.
Yeah, you're ahead of me, but yes, we're gonna do that. So the first thing we gotta do is we're getting the mileage and we're checking engine lights. If there's any lights that are still on after about 5 seconds, all the lights should go off if everything's good. If something is on, I just want to make mention of it to a customer. I just want to ask a quick question. How long's that light been on? Not because I care how long it's been on. Because I want the customer to know that I know the light is on before we take possession. How many of you done pre-diagnostic? Because you did 4 tires on my car, now my engine light, my check engine light's on.
Yes.
Right? You did a set of struts on my car, now my radio doesn't work. Right? All that weird stuff somehow happens to happen when we touch the car. So if we can catch most of that stuff before we take possession, we might be able to save ourselves some of those dollars. And instead of doing free diagnostic, we can add a diagnostic fee because we notice the light. Say, hey, Corey, how long's that light been? Oh, it just came on a few days ago. You want us to do some diagnostic on it, so we can figure out what's going on? $30 an hour or whatever. So we might be able to add that. So let's catch that stuff first. And that's what the VIP does. It helps us gather information. And it's not just information that helps us sell, but it's information that might help save us some dollars. So we check the engine lights. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can also find, highlight damage like missing hubcaps, damage to wheels, messed up lug nuts,
Yep.
all that kind of stuff. And then you can mention it kind of at the front side.
Yep.
And they may not even know it. You might have to go back out and, yeah, this
right.
this lug nuts are messed up.
Yep. And we're gonna talk about that. That's a great lead in. So we're done checking the lights. We've got the mileage. Before we get out, we want to do 2 more things. One, turn the steering wheel all the way to the left. Why would I do that? It makes it much easier for myself and my customer to see the face of the tread, right? Because if I leave it straight, it's tucked up under, and unless we get down on our knees, we want to be able to turn it out so we can actually see the tires. And the other thing we're going to do before we get out is look up in the left-hand upper corner of the windshield. What do we see? Last oil change sticker, right? So is it time to do an oil change? Is it close enough we can recommend an oil change? Has it already been done and it's not close enough, but we can let that customer know? We still got customers that don't know we do oil change. So if we can plant that seed, hey, just so you know, next time you're ready for your oil change, we do those. We're cheaper than Jiffy Lube and we can rotate your tires for you. So we can look for that oil change sticker. It's an opportunity to possibly add some more dollars to the ticket, right? We're talking about building our ticket average. So now as you get out, I highly recommend that you take a real quick look at the tire size label on the door jamb. Don't always assume that the tires that you're looking at that are on the car are the right tires for the car. Because if somebody put the wrong tires on there somewhere along the line, and now you come along and you just put the same thing on there, guess who's liable if something happens? Last person to touch it. So let's make sure we're looking at the tires that are on the car and we look at the placard. Nothing should be on that vehicle that is not at least OE or better. So now we're done. We shut the car door. Let's take a quick look at the wiper blade. When do customers know they need wipers? When it's raining. When do they remember that they needed wipers? Next time it rains, right? So if we happen to pull that wiper blade up and we just ask a quick question, hey, your wiper's working okay for you? That might trigger something. Oh crap, you're right. Last time it rained, my wipers worked like crap. Can you replace those for me? There's another 20, 30, 40 bucks or it might be less, right? Just reminding the customer that my wipers weren't good last time. So we're done with all that stuff. Now it's time to get down on our knees and look at at the front tire and actually look for wear. This is our opportunity to talk to a customer about setting the stage for alignment, right? When's the last time you had your car? I don't know. It's been quite a while. Well, I want to protect your investment in these tires. So we're going to put in the alignment rack, check your alignment, no cost. If it needs it, it's $100. I just pre-sold it. Pre-sell the alignment. That way, if somebody walks off while you're in the middle of it and needs it, just do. Okay, so we look at the tires, we show them any kind of wear that we see, we talk real quick about that. And while we're down there, let's look at the low nuts. We're looking for a wheel lock. Doesn't it suck to slow your speed limit down because your tire installer has to find a wheel lock key? Wouldn't it be cool if you found that it had locks on it and you could ask that customer, hey, when we're all done, can you do me a favor and go ahead and dig out your wheel lock key, just put it in the center console, make it easy for my tire installer to find? Then it doesn't slow down my speed limit. He gets in, pulls in, grabs it. The other thing that could happen is there could be some kind of an issue, could be some kind of a liability with my tire installer digging through somebody's car. We're done with the left front. We're going to walk around the right front. And while we're doing this, we are asking those open-ended questions. So what did you like about your old tires? What didn't you like about your old tire? What's important to you? What do you need these new tires to do? Who drives the car most of the time? What kind of driving do you do? All of that stuff is information that goes into my database that I'm going to use, for lack of a better term, against them when I want to sell them something better than that inexpensive tire that they just came in. So I ask those open-ended questions as we're walking around. We get to the right front, looking down at the right front. We know it's the right front has the same wear as the left front. Usually if you got a alignment problem, have double fronts, right? And we're going to get up and we're going to walk to the right rear. While we're doing all this, as Tom stated, we are looking at the car. How many of you could tell me what the right side of your car looks like right now? Pretty confident that you know there's no dings, there's no scratches. I can tell you, I have no idea what the right side of my car looks like. Because I park in the same place all the time. I come out of my front door, I go in my driver's side of the car, I get out, I go to the front door. I never see the right side of my car unless I wash it or somebody has serviced it. And I walk around and make sure my tires got rotated, whatever it might be. You got customers out there the same way. They don't know there's damage on the right side of the car. They don't know that they let their son borrow it last night and he scraped something until after you've serviced the car and you park it up front and now he walks around it to look at the tires and he says, you scratched my car. So to Tom's point, we're walking around looking for that stuff. Are they missing hubcaps? A missing hubcap is a great opportunity. First of all, to let them know that that remind them that that hubcap's missing before we've taken possession of this car. And we might be able to add that to the ticket, right? Y'all got a 1-800 hubcap number. Maybe you can get a replacement hubcap for them, charge them for it. Or if you see scratches or dents, this just opportunities to ask that quick question. Wow, what happened there? I just want the customer to know that I know that it's there before we've taken possession of the car. Any of you ever had to pay for something you know you didn't damage? Y'all should be raising your hands. I know it happens in your stores. Is that stuff we can save? We can save ourselves of some of that stuff. Now, I'm not saying it's going to save every incident, but it might save a lot of it. If you see it, you make a note, and you just make a quick comment. Wow, what happened there? Okay, so let's look at that. Look for that visible damage, write that stuff down. I had another section where they said, well, we have the technician do that. When they pull the car in, they walk around and they note any damage. It's too late. If we have driven that car at all, it's too late. Because it's our word against theirs that we didn't do anything between the parking lot and the shop. So let's do it in the DAP process. Check the wheel locks, ask the purposeful questions as we're walking around. We're making the customer a whole part of this process. Again, we can quantify this, the VIP process. When we get done, we're done with the left rear, we walk, or the right rear, we walk around to the left rear, check that rear wiper blade as we walk by. And we finish at the left rear before we head back into the showroom. And as we're heading back into the showroom, this is a great time to maybe mention or ask that question. Will you be putting these on your bingo card today? Now we're starting to set the stage for bingo credit. So we gather the information, and now step 2 of the 5-step is to make a recommendation, right? So we're going to use all that information we just got from the customer to talk to them about some various tires. We should always give them 3 options if you can. Why would we do 3 options?
So they can pick the middle one.
If you give 3 options, most of the time customers will gravitate toward the middle. Because oftentimes they might feel that they can't afford the best, but they don't want the cheapest. So we'll move our way to the center. And again, I'm going to show you that your more profitable tires really are in the middle. So we offer them three tires, good, better, best. Now, there's 2 methods of sales. There's top-down selling and there's bottom-up selling. Top-down selling happens when a customer comes in, they didn't make any phone calls before, checking prices or anything like that. They just drive in your driveway and they say, I think I need tires. Then we're going to ask questions, we're going to get our information, and we're going to take them in and show them the best tire that fits their application, and we'll work our way down from there. Best, better, good. But if they come in off of that phone call and we've told them we got tire start as low as $70.99, then we're in the bottom up. We've got to go from bottom to top. We have to show them that inexpensive tire because we're not the bait and switch. But we got to show them that tire. So I'm going to show them that inexpensive tire and then a step up in our premium. And I'll show you what that looks like for me. When I used to sell, first of all, when you're done outside, don't take your customer to a computer. Unless you're going to check stock real quick, that's all you should be doing at the computer. If you're trying to sell from a computer, you're going to sell inexpensive tires. That's the way it works. Most of the time, again, your order taken. You want to take them to a tire tree or a tire wall. I used to like to take them out to my warehouse. Store I ran for my previous company had a big old, we had a big warehouse, 2,500 tires in stock. And it was, my shop was over here. My showroom was over here. It was nice and quiet. So I would take my customers into my warehouse and I would pull 3 tires. The inexpensive tire we talked about on the phone, 1 step up, and the premium tire. So they give you a few salesman's hints here too. Some tricks of the trade. First of all, if I've got a list of inspection results that I want to cover with a customer, and my customer's sitting in my showroom, I don't want to show my customer these results standing over them. There's an intimidation factor, right? Not that he's intimidated by me, he knows he probably break me on his way. But there's an intimidation factor to this. I want to pull up a chair next to him, or I'm gonna get down on the knee next to him. I want to be eye to eye or below their eye. So what I used to like to do is I'd pull 3 tires and I'd get down on a knee right behind my tires. It gave me it did 2 things for me. First of all, it put me below their eye level, so they're looking down at me. I'm comfortable with that. And the other is it allowed me to maneuver the tires however I want to do. So I take them out to my warehouse, and once I've got the tires all set there, I get down on me and I take my first tire, the cheap tire, right, $70.99 tire, and I roll it toward them until it just about hits them in the leg or foot or whatever. What's their natural reaction, you think?
Take it back.
Take it back. What's that?
Step back.
No, grab it. Yeah. Natural reactions are gonna reach down. That's all I want is to touch it. It's the way I used to sell shocks. You just gotta get a product in somebody's hand. A lot of times there's a sense of ownership. And you'll notice he took that pen without me saying it. I just held it out. You do the same thing with a shock absorber. You do the same thing with a tire. All you gotta do is push it towards somebody and they're going to reach. And they start doing it. They're gonna start doing this with the sidewalls, and they got a freaking idea what they're doing. But the fact of the matter is they're touching. It's what I needed to do. So I'm gonna push that first one out there. I'm gonna let them touch it, rub it, and all this stuff, but I'm gonna say, this is the tire we talked about over the phone. It's a good 40,000 miles to go to. That's all I'm gonna say about it. We'll let him play with it. He can ask me questions or whatever. Give him a few minutes, then I'm gonna pull it away from him. And I'm pushing the next tire up there. However, Corey, based on some of the things you told me out of your car, I know you said that you wanted a tire that's good in the wet weather. This has got 3 circumferential grooves that's gonna help channel water away from the tread, give you really good contact on the road. And you wanted a quiet tire, so it's got that variable tread pitch, so it cuts down on harmonics, which means it's a bit quiet at any time. It's a great tire. So you're gonna be touching that, looking at it, and we'll pull it back. But this is the tire I recommend, and here's why. You want a good safe tire, this one's got 4 circumferential grooves as opposed to that one. This one's also got the quiet gliding tread, because it's got the variable tread pitch, and it's a polyester core body, which is a smooth riding tire. Plus, it's my best tire. It comes with the best warranty in the business. Would you agree that that tire probably fits your needs the best?
Yep.
So, when, who caught that?
I'm good.
Yeah. First of all, when did I top price? Never. If you sell on price, a lot of times you're gonna sell cheap. You sell the value of the product. How many of you ever have sold a set of tires and price never came up? You got a customer to agree to that set of tires. You gotta give them a price eventually, right? Because you gotta give them a signed work order, but they're already agreeing, they're already handing the keys going, yeah, I want those tires. You sold value. If you've done it, you sold value. And that's what we're after. We want them to believe that that tire is so valuable to them that I can't go with anything else. The other thing that he thought was, as I was talking to Corey, and I was talking about the tire I really wanted him to buy, I was nodding my head. Did anybody see Corey start nodding his head? Customers will start nodding their head with you. And when you get them nodding their head, it's hard for them to go, check your difference here, that's all. No. So I talked very little about this one, a little bit more about this one, a lot more about this one. I had more excitement in my voice about this one. I was nodding along and smiling, making eye contact with Corey. So that's the tire I wanted to do. But I'm happy if he goes, let's go with this. Because one step up, you guys will see in a minute. A, makes me a little bit more money, and B, I think it's a better tire than that one is. He's gonna be happy. So I think we both win. Okay? The point is, you've got to be willing. You've got to be willing to do it. The other thing I did, I used the word recommend for the premium tire. Don't underestimate your words as a professional by saying, I recommend. Because that's what customers are looking for. They're looking for somebody to give them an answer. I recommend. So sell the value. How many of you have ever sold dollar per mile? Anybody ever use that? This is a trick I used to use all the time. If you take that 40,000 mile tire and you divide $70.99 by 40,000, you get $1 per mile. You guys have all seen this in the grocery stores, right? You see a can of beans that's this big, a can of beans is this big, tells you what the prices are, and underneath it says price per ounce.
Sure.
So it's kind of the same thing. It's $1 per mile. So you do that with a 40,000 and you do it with a 65,000 or 70,000, whatever else you're trying to show them. And you will oftentimes find that your premium tire, $1 per mile, is the same or less. So what's the best value? Customers really want cheaper than they want for value. Most of the time they're looking for value. You just gotta be willing. You gotta be willing to get away from the computer, show them some tires, talk to them about the features and benefits, but you can't do this process if you didn't find out what's important to them. It's all hand in hand. This is our product screen. I mean, obviously, we've got a lot of tires that are available to us, but this is our product screen. Here's the scary thing right now. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4. Tier 1 being our premium products. Our premium products, year over year, are dropping. We're selling less premiums and we're selling more of the OPPs, opening price point tire. That tells me one of two things. And they could be both. But one, it could be our economy. Our economy's not great. People just can't afford or don't want to spend that much money on better tires. I have a tendency to think that might be a little bit of it, but I don't think that's the majority. But I think more of what's going on is we have too many order takers in our stores. We're not taking the time to find out what's important to a customer and show them other products. We're not giving them the option of moving up to a better quality tire. The numbers aren't lying. When we're seeing Tier 4 skyrocketing, Tier 1 is dropping. Tier 2 and 3 are pretty much flat year over year. It's 1 and 4 that's making a big change. These are our average GPs company-wide. Your GPs could vary a little bit depending on whether or not you're using the price guides and stuff like that, or our suggested pricing. But look, what I was telling you about moving to the middle, selling to the middle, one step from a Tier 4 to a Tier 3, you move somebody from that saloon at 18% to a Sumitomo at 34, a Nexon at 30, the other Sumitomo at 30. Who said something about Cooper? You get them up into the Tier 2s, the Coopers. Don't mistake me as saying, as telling you that you guys should be selling based on percentages. Okay, I'm just telling you there's more gross profit in that middle than there is in selling the inexpensive tires. There is still reason to sell the inexpensive tire. That customer does fit, or that tire does fit some customers. Like I said, there's no bad tires, it's bad application. If that's the right application for that customer, or if that's the tire that absolutely the customer will buy nothing but that tire, that's the tire that goes on their car. You can't take percentages for the bank. By the way, don't get stuck on Michelin being 18%. Because massed products, Michelin, BF Goodrich, and Uniroyal, you guys probably know there's a rebate program on that where there's a rebate that gets back to the store on volume. So that number is really 5 to 10% higher depending on the volume that you're moving. So Michelin, you're going to be making more like 23 to 28 again, depending on the volume that you're moving. So don't get stuck on that. But even if it was just 18%, 18% of a $200 tire is better than 18% of an $80 tire. I'd still sell them. The point is, we've got to give customers options. We've got to give them an option to move from this tire here to something that's going to be Better for them, quite frankly, better for us. Of course, our legacy is the best. You're gonna make the most money on the legacy at 38%. So how do we sell the legacy all season? Is it all about the features and benefits? What other tires do we carry that have features and benefits like this? With the exception of asymmetric tread pattern, which is becoming more and more prevalent, so you will see a lot more asymmetrics because every tire manufacturer is getting to know that asymmetric is the best of both worlds, right? But everybody's got some kind of strange siping now, 3D siping, zigzag siping, whatever. Everybody's got siping. Everybody's got main grooves, whether it's 2, 3, or 4. Everybody's got slots, the cross slots, the polyester cord body. All the tires are pretty much the same. They all have a variable tread pitch. You heard me talk about that here. Every freaking tire made has variable tread pitch. That's the one thing everybody builds into a tire to keep it from making noise. Yes, ma'am.
You said benefit, none of the rest of them had full replacement, right?
That's how you sell a big tire. It is about presentation, and it's about what you wanted to talk about. You'll notice that I did talk about polyester core body on this tire. They all have it. So it's about how you present it, what you present, but most importantly, if you really want to differentiate the Big O tire, none of them have the best warranty with it. None of them are built by Toyota. Well, Toyota. You just got to be willing to talk about this. Same thing with the truck tires. Yeah, the AT's got a great following. It's great with the Big O's, just so much popular. So again, how do we sell it? What's different about the AT that's different than any other truck tire? Pretty much nothing. Other than, Missy, the warranty. And it's built by Nitto. How many of you use that as a selling point?
People don't do those into their.
Like you, Cooper. They live under a rock. What's up with that?
Seriously. What?
You just gotta be willing to talk about this stuff. You're not willing to be salespeople, gather information, and make recommendations based on features, benefits. Is the tire business really right? We gotta be willing to be salespeople. Make sure you're VIPing every customer. Make sure you're gathering information. Because none of this stuff works if I don't do this, if I don't gather the information. When we try to sell a tire based on mileage or based on price, you're not giving the customer any kind of value. You're not going to sell a quality product. So make the visit personal. Let's build that relationship with the customer so that they're willing to listen to us when we start sharing. And let's go back to Michelin real quick. Customer comes in asking for a Michelin tire. Is it okay for us to talk to him about a Big O? Why not, right? I mean, I'm not saying we want to take all of Michelin's business, and we can't. Because there's some of those customers that when you say, I got another tire that I think is comparable to that Michelin, it would probably save you some money, would you be willing to look at it? You're gonna get some of those customers go, nope, I want Michelin. Because maybe they're about the brand, or maybe they've driven on Michelin's all their life. They love Michelin. Great. I got them. I'm going to sell them to you. And usually that Michelin customer is the one who's willing to fix other things. But if I could share that with the customer and the customer goes, well, listen, you want to show me something else? I can take them to the Big O tire. Good chance I can move them to the Big O. What's the advantage for us in having them in a Big O tire? They got Big O's on their car. What's the advantage for us?
They're gonna be back there for that.
We have it.
They're national.
They're national, they're back 3,000 or 4,000 miles. They are married to us for 6 years. They're not gonna go anywhere else to have a service. I mean, they can if we've upset them in some way. Chances are you haven't done that enough for a customer to not have their Big O tire service at a Big O tire store. Be willing to just ask those Michelin customers a question. Again, not that I want to steal all Michelin's business, because Michelin does on borrows. But I would like to see more of our Big O tire in our customers' cars. So make the visit personal, create that trust with the customer. How many of you guys have key tosser? You know what key tosser is? Yeah. What's the key topic? Key.
Trust you.
They already got you.
Yeah.
What you want.
They don't ask for price. They just hand you the keys and say, it's doing this. I'll be back in 5. Fix it. We love those customers. That's a customer you built a relationship with. They trust you. They trust that you won't rip them off. So let's create that trust. Let's build those customers, right? Make the proper recommendations. Be enthusiastic. Let the customer know that you love what they do. I see guys in stores. I'll sit there in a parking lot or something and watch a guy walking out through the It's like, oh my gosh, I gotta go talk to somebody else. This business would be so great if we didn't have customers. I'd love my job so much if I didn't have to talk to another customer. You're not gonna have a job long. Be enthusiastic. Let the customers know you want to service their needs. And then we gotta ask for the same. Dale Carnegie said people buy from people they know, like, and trust. When we're selling, we're looking for a buying signal. We're looking for that customer to give us a signal that says it's time to stop selling it and ask for the same. I like to equate it to fishing. Some of you guys like the fishing here, so we talk about fishing. Now, but when you go fishing, you throw bait and a hook out there. What are you waiting for?
Bobber.
So you're looking for a bite. How do you know you got a bite? Yeah, you get the bobber bouncing or you feel it in the line or something like that, right? And then what do you do?
That's the hook.
That
Gotta
hook.
set the hook, right? You gotta give it a good yank, make sure it's in there good and deep so they don't spit the hook out. And then you reel them in. It's kind of the same thing with sales. I got the bait right here. I'm gonna show them the tires and I'm looking for the bite. So the bite can either be verbal or it could be a non-verbal cue. So what verbally might I hear from a customer that tells me it's time to set the hook?
When can you get it done?
How fast can you put them on?
So how fast,
You have it in stock.
when, you have them in stock,
You want my keys?
here's my keys. Anything else?
You take cash.
Do you take cash? So these are all verbal cues. Hey, has anybody ever talked to your customer out of a sale? I think anybody that's been salespeople for any amount of time has probably done it once. You learn that if you continue talking after a customer is giving you a cue, there's a good chance they're gonna go, you know what? I'll be back. And as I used to hear from a district manager I worked with years ago, there's no be back button on the calculator. Okay, so I hear something like that, it's time for me to set the hook. And ask them the closing question. Which of these tires would you like? Depending on what they're, can you do these today? Absolutely, give me your keys, let's go get started. We quit talking at that point, it's time to just close the sale. All right, so what might we see? A nonverbal cue that tells us it's time to stop talking and ask for the sale. Customer quits talking.
Look at the watch.
What else? Forgot I have an appointment. That means you lost it. What else? What's that? Head nod. How about smile? Head shake?
Handshake.
Handshake. Like that? Oh,
Still be the,
pull the keys out of their pockets. How about they reach for their wallet? Seen that? Reach for their wallet. Start looking, what card do I have today?
You should put a big old card in.
If they're hanging onto the tire, if they touching the same tire.
Yeah. I've been spending a little bit too
This is mine.
too much time hugging and kissing on the tire, right? So these are all things that we need to be watching and listening for so that when we see or hear it, we set the hook. We ask that question if we need to. Somebody, I saw a hand over there. I didn't know somebody breathing in. So if we get these kind of things, it might lead automatically into, I mean, if somebody's handing us the keys, we know it's done. If somebody's just nodding their head, then we might still have to have a question. So there's a couple of questions I used to love to close with. One was, which of these do you think will be best for you? When I'm showing the 3 tires, I'm gonna narrow it down to just these 2. I'm gonna say, which of these 2 do you think would be best for you? I'm not asking them if they're buying, I'm asking them which one. That's all you do, just one, we'll be sorry. Or, this is a big sale, I better make sure we have those in stock. You ever have a craving for something? And I love the chocolate donuts at Walmart. It's a horrible addiction, but I love these stupid donuts. So when I get a craving for them and I go to Walmart, I go to the shelf where they're always at. And if they're not there, it's like, it's what I wanted. I have this craving. And if you stand there long enough and you kind of look, somebody pushed one back behind the powdered donut. It's like, yes, you pull that out. Woo, I'm out of here. Yeah, the person thought they did them better than that. Suck it. I kind of equate that to the sense of urgency. So if I'm sitting here showing these tires and you kind of nod your head, but you haven't made a commitment yet, I'm gonna say, hey, Nick, let me go make sure I got 3 more of these in stock. It's just like my biggest seller. So let me make sure I got 3 more in stock. I'll be right back. So as I'm off, Nick is probably standing there going, he's kind of got me convinced that's the right tire. Hope he comes back and tells me he's got 3 more. If he's got them, I got to get them today. If I come back, they probably won't be urgent. So I want that sense of urgency in Nick. So when I go look at the 40 I still have on the shelf, when I come back, I go, you're luck. I got 3 left. He's like, let's get it done. I love that sense of urgency close. Just suppose that money wasn't an issue. That's a great one that when they can't make a decision, suppose money was an issue. I can go back to the dollar per mile. This is a much better value. I can segue into, we got great financing options. And then of course the big O, you want to put this on your big O card today. Speaking of the big O card, did you know that 50% of your customers can't afford $4,000 repair? Sales people are like, oh yeah, we see it all day long. That's why we've got to have the ability for them to be able to afford that. And we do that with our big O card, right? Some kind of financing option where we can have them spread it out. So when customers need help, talk to them about financing. How about if you took 6 months to pay that off and you pay nothing out of pocket? What do you think about that?